All please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So we have a Curtis, are you an alternate?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Would you mind being a voting member this evening?
Yep.
Okay. We'll have Curtis as a voting member, so we'll appoint him as an alternate. The roll call of members: Michael Croto, chair.
Kimberly Queen, Vice Chair.
Ron Stevens, member.
Curtis Sampson, alternate.
Joshua Smith, member.
Stephen Weber, Selectman's Rep.
Thank you. Before we get started tonight, I'm just going to throw out any public input on non-agenda items this evening, items not on the agenda for this meeting. Seeing none, I will close public input on non-agenda items, and we'll go right to the business at hand. Mel's Funway Park proposed amendments to the site plan approved 1/15/19 to show the following. This hearing is continued from January 7, 2020, and then continued from February 4, 2020. Replace cottage haunt with food service and temporary attraction area. Shiplad siding on pavilions 1 and 2, T1 11 to remain on pavilion 3 behind the facade. Expand kitty area to allow family gathering area. Show overflow parking, employee parking and storage areas. Minor modification to landscaping and certain construction details. Is the applicant present this evening?
We are indeed, Mr. Chairman.
Would the applicant introduce himself to the board?
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, good evening. My name is Andy Perlman. I'm an attorney with Prunier and Perlman of Nashua, and with me tonight is Michael Accomando, one of the owners of All Things Mel's. And what I would like to do, Mr. Chairman, is to just follow up to our meeting from last time and show you and highlight changes that we made on the plan. We were close last time, but there were too many kind of picky outstanding matters. And so we made a number of changes to the notes. We're showing some things on the plans. I want to highlight them to you. And then really ask for any questions. You have Chairman Carr's staff report where he did the same. But just to highlight, just to run through, let me begin with running through the notes. Just calling out some changes that we made from the last plan that was before you. Note number 1, we removed the reference to the the employee parking across the street on map 20 lot 14. So that's been taken off the note. And again, that employee parking is no longer part of the application. Note number 2, we provided some more detail about the operation of the food service and temporary attraction area. Specifically, while we're proposing use of the area from August 1 to November 30th. The August 1 to November 30th period includes the setup and breakdown, and we specify that that period will include the 22 to 24 days of Spooky World and the setup and takedown of said event. So there won't be any events every day beginning August 1st. It's only to allow the setup. And so we're going to have the same 22 to 24 days of Spooky World that we've always had. Also in note number 2, we have the language, we're proposing language of the zombie paintball tent, the bar tent, the food service trucks, picnic tables shall be removed from December 1 to July 31st. So for most of the year, December 8 months, it's going to be just the open field well, you don't see it today because the carnage is there, but it's just going to be kind of an open area. And most of the year, 8 months out of the year, there'll be nothing there. Note number 3, there was a question about when we're going to be using the merchandise area in pavilion number 2. And so we specified that you remember that we have 3 pavilions, 1, 2, and 3. Each of them have haunts, but the rear portion of pavilion number 2, the pavilion in the middle, is going to have a merchandise area. You can buy your pictures, you can buy your T-shirts, hats, and whatnot. And we specify that those that merchandise area will be used for Spooky World events only. It's not going to be open any other time of the year other than Spooky World nights. We reduced the overflow parking around the Laserplex building to no more than 50 cars, and we provided a layout. I'm going to come back to that. We removed note number 6 on the plan. It's entirely different now. The prior note number 6 talked about the employees parking on across the street. Again, that's been removed from the plan entirely. Note number 23. The middle portion of the notes have also remained the same. Jumping to note number 23. We have the 30 sanitary facilities, the porta potties are now shown on the plan and shall be located in the approximate areas, approximate locations shown on the plans. So we've laid out a number of places where the porta potties go, where they've gone in the past. And again, they're approximate areas, so they're ballpark where the porta potties are going to end up for the Spooky World events. And again, those are for Spooky World events, not for everyday Mel's. And likewise, note number 24, we call out 8 temporary light fixtures situated around the big lot, map 20, lot 17, and we have an additional 3 temporary light fixtures across the street on map 18, the sand pit parking lot. There's the walkway, and then they're located in the front of the lot, all along Charles Bancroft Highway, by the walkway, in the middle of the lot, and by the crosswalk that the police escort people across from the sand pit lot to Mel's. And likewise, Spooky World only. Note number 28, we're keeping the language, and this comes up twice actually, we're keeping the language suggested by Mr. Mankara, where improvements have to be completed prior to the issuance of the certificate of occupancy for the bumper boat attraction, or by August 31st of this year. And we're on schedule for that. And likewise, note number 29 says the same thing. The improvements shown on this plan as amended shall be completed no later than August 31st, exclusive of any appeals. And then we get into, then the following notes, note number 30, we get into kind of more detail about the specific attractions. The zombie paintball attraction, note number 30, the zombie paintball attraction is an enclosed 40 by 80 tent where Spooky World guests use paintball guns tethered to tables to shoot live zombies. Note 31, bar tent shall provide approximately 10 picnic tables. Food service area shall provide approximately 10 to 12 picnic tables. Those are outdoor, subject to the approval of the New Hampshire Liquor Commission. 32, no bird cannon noise after 10 p.m. All Spooky World ticket booth sales will end at 10 p.m. on school nights and 11 p.m. on non-school nights. Non-school nights include national holidays, teacher workshops, and other scheduled days off. And then finally, for the notes, the bar tent, number 33, the bar tent and the zombie paintball tent shall be inspected and approved for use by the Litchfield Fire Department prior to use. And again, the fire department has been doing that for years anyway, but we're happy to have that note on the plan. As to the plan, the plans, I've highlighted them on my plan, but you can see that we have light towers throughout the site. We have the porta potties throughout the site, and we have additional details when you go to the additional sheets. Sheet 2 is the blow up of in the main area of Mel's, and we're showing the porta potty locations, the light towers, and they're scattered throughout the area. On sheet 5 of 5, we have a detail of the food truck and food service area. And again, we're showing the approximate locations of where the trucks show up. And on any given night, there could be 4, there could be 8 trucks, depending on if it's a Saturday, depending on the weather. But we're showing the approximate locations where the truck's going to be. The food areas are really where the picnic tables are laid out. And you can see the back of pavilion number 2 has the picture and merchandise area, the scare cam. The elevations that we're showing, we have a pavilion number 1 elevation, which is not labeled sheet 6, but it's the 6th sheet in your plan. And it shows pavilion number 1, how the barn board is going to be installed over the T111. That's there now. And then pavilion number 2 is the last sheet in your plan. Very similar, a little different because the rear of the pavilion number 2 has the windows and the garage doors for the merchandise area. And those are the substantive changes to the plan. We've been through Jay McCara's staff report, and we have no issues with it. We have no issues if there are any conditions of approval. But let me say one last thing. You can see on, hang on. Oh, where'd it go? Bear with me. Oh, yeah. How come I don't have that on my plan? Oh, yeah, okay. On sheet 5, on the detail showing the overflow parking area, pretend that that's not there, because we're going to remove that overflow parking entirely from the plan. Talking with Attorney Hollis earlier today, we have come to an agreement that we're going to remove that entirely, and we're going to make the parking work as is. We may have to do overflow parking across the street on the sandpit lot, and if we do, we will work that out with the police department. But we are not presenting the overflow parking that's shown in this plan as part of this application. We're going to remove that. So that's not part of the plan. That stays as is, a grassy area that it is today. And unless the board had any questions, it was really a kind of a plan cleanup matter more than anything else.
Does the board have any questions for the applicant?
So that overflow parking was, you had meant, Jay, I think in your report, you mentioned that's what.
Yeah, it was a little awkward because Lou Karen suggested, why don't you show how the parking lays out? And then I think we showed how parking would conventionally lay out, but on a kind of a grass area. And then Jay's comment, I think, is very fair, saying, well, it's grass. You don't really have exact parking striping, and it's not how it's going to function. But then again, talking further with Attorney Hollis today, we just came to the decision that let's just pull it off the plan altogether. It's we'll figure it out. We'll figure out the parking. We may park across the street, so we're going to remove that portion of the application.
So there's a potential cause for more parking across the street then.
That's true, but again, don't forget, it's not a lot, and we use that anyway during Spooky World events anyway, right? And if it is during the course of the summer, if we have a beautiful Saturday and you get a lot of events, we would like Mel's has always done. They call up the police department. They say we're going to need some crossing supervision. They've always done for years.
In terms of the lighting issue, can you go over, what are you're going to have, obviously you're going to have spotlights, so you're going to have, what is the, the intensity of the light, or is it going to be something that, that meets the regulations, the site plan regulations?
It's the same lighting that Mel's has been using for Spooky World events for the past 12 years. They're those temporary little generators at the base. They go up 20 feet high, right? 15, 20 feet high. And they are directed away from any neighbors out onto the fields and out onto the Spooky World areas. You know,
And are
we've
those-
not done a light study. We've not done, the illumination analysis, but they're the same ones that have been used for years.
Are those noted on the plan? Yes. Do we have that?
Not as an illustration on the plan, but just in the notes, we speak to the, where'd we go? The temporary light fixtures.
They're showing, there's a detail too. So we've shown, my name is Matt Peterson with Keaching Ocean Associates. So the porta pots were shown with the cross hatching, which is on the second sheet, and then the lights are showing up in this location here. And we did show them on the plans where they were, and then on each sheet, they're all around on the site. So we did show them where they're gonna place them, like you asked the last meeting.
In terms of landscaping, is there going to be any additional landscaping of things? I don't know. Putting
Well,
trees or things like that?
if you turn to the primary landscape is shown on one of our sheets here, on sheet 4 of 5. Let me back up. You will recall we had an initial landscaping plan that was designed to screen the carnage area. So we kept that same amount of landscaping, the same trees, the same bushes, but we moved them forward in between the existing mini golf and then and you can see pavilion number 1 and the kiddie area. But the amount of landscaping hasn't changed, but it's just where the location we're going to be putting trees.
Kate Stevens is not here this evening. She's one of our planning board members, but she did send me an email. I guess her question was, and I guess the reason I'm asking about the lights, there was and this is in her email dated, let's see, what was this dated? March 2nd, which was Monday. There was a question that I didn't see answered, and that was whether the temporary lighting met the lighting requirements of the town to limit glare and light pollution. I guess that was her concern. So I'm just putting that on the record.
Well,
I know she's not here, but.
Yeah, my answer is the same. We have not done a light study. They're the same lights that we've been used for years. And we could show, we could add a little diagram to what the temporary light fixtures look like. But we, are showing the locations and we have the note. But I can't tell you that it specifically meets the code. But again, they're temporary just for the Spooky World nights.
Anybody have anything else?
I do.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
You mentioned 30 porta potties, and they're going to be moved accordingly. Are there always going to be 30?
Yeah, so during the setup, the porta potties are brought in, plopped down on the ground, and then they stay there for the entire term of Spooky World.
Okay.
All right, so once they're on the ground, they don't change until they're gone.
Okay.
Right, as opposed to say the food trucks that kind of come and go depending on
Exactly.
Thursday night versus Saturday night type thing.
And I believe the note said no less than 30.
Right.
Jay, do you have anything to comment?
Not a lot additional to add. It does seem as though a lot of the changes have been made that were in response to comments that came at the prior hearings or in response to staff comments, board comments. Obviously, noting the changes that we'll propose this evening, removing the overflow parking takes care of one of my outstanding concerns. Adding the additional page with the pavilion number 2 description takes care of another one of the outstanding concerns. I have no additional comments.
Anything else, Attorney Pullman?
No, that's it for now.
All right. If the board doesn't have any more questions, I'm going to open up to public comment. As the members of the public here this evening who wish to comment, please come forward, introduce yourselves to the board.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. My name is Morgan Hollis. I'm an attorney at Gottesman and Hollis, in Nashua, and I'm here representing Jill Charbonneau, trustee of the Jill Charbonneau Revocable Trust. With me this evening is Rick Charbonneau, as we've been through this process. And I'm happy to say that with the subtraction of the overflow parking, we're happy with the plan. And it's been a nice haul, and we're happy it's over. So as long as that's removed, we're happy with it. We leave the rest of it to you.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Any other members of the public? Okay. Hearing none. I'll bring it back to the board. Does the board have any further questions for the applicant? Anything else need to address? What's the board's position? Do we want to conditionally approve these amendments? Plan? Kim, do you
Yeah,
have
we'll
anything?
make a motion to approve them. Can I see we got the list from Jay, right?
It's going to be, well, it
All
would
of
be
the
a
notes we've
conditional
combined, yeah.
approval.
Well, it's changed a little bit since there was a conversation, so our list is a little off, but do you want?
So obviously, I mean, I don't think the only thing we're going to have to, I mean, obviously they're removing the overflow parking.
Overflow parking, yeah.
So that's going to be, that's not going to be an issue.
Mhm.
So other than that, I mean, if you want to.
All right, I think it really is just based on the sidewalk being completed, right? Or there's a certain date before then, right? Let me just get that from the notes. Was it August 31st?
It was August
August
31st.
31st, 2020, or that sidewalk had to be completed, right?
Or whichever is sooner.
Whichever was first, right? Yep. So I guess to conditionally approve that based on having the bumper boat attraction, occupancy certificate, if everything's completed by August 31st, 2020, right?
Or whichever.
And the 4-foot sidewalk is on the east side of the Charles Bancroft Highway is built.
You would want a condition that we remove that overflow parking.
Yes, we mentioned the overflow parking.
Yeah, so you would make it.
Okay.
yeah, conditional.
Yep.
So we also have the revisions to the plan to note number 1. That's a condition of approval.
Mhm.
Remove reference to the employee parking.
Yep.
The note number 2 to reflect that August 1st to November 30th, that's basically Spooky World 2022 to 24 year. Let's see. The zombie paintball tent, the tables would be removed. That's a condition of approval. So that would be December 1st to July 31st, as reflected in that change to note 2. So that'd be clarified on the plan. Note number 3, which talks about the pavilion merchandising area, that would only be for Spooky World events only. That's a condition, note number 3, to reflect that on the plan. Note 6 has been removed. Shall be removed. Note number 23, the porta potties, that they are shown approximately in the area for the Spooky World, and this is only for Spooky World events only. So as listed on the plan, as amended. So they should be reflected on the plan or noted on the plan. Temporary lighting fixtures, note. Sorry, what number was that?
It was for number 24. They'd be on the walkway, on the crosswalks.
Right.
And yet they were on
So that-
multiple lots, 18 and 20, yeah.
The crosswalk, walkway, that'll be a condition of approval.
Yep.
Let's see. Okay, we talked about note number 28, where the language was added, recommended to be added, that's a condition of approval, that improvements completed by August 31st, 2020 or sooner. The zombie paintball, note number 30, reflect that change on the plan. And I believe you mentioned the fire department, so I would, as a condition of approval, the fire department approve, I don't know if it's the use of that, the zombie paintball.
Steve Doobie has to inspect all the tents.
Right,
The rest of
so,
the-
and make sure that it's inspected prior to its use.
Yeah, of course.
So we'll make that a condition of approval. Okay. Also, the change to the no bird cannon amendment, that note number 33. Right, that was note number 33, which was the fire department inspection approval for use for the,
Mike, did you capture 29?
yes.
The light fixture,
No,
what's
29.
I don't have 29 here.
Should be,
24, 28.
so basically, comment, note 29 should be amended to state that construction of the proposed 4-foot sidewalk on the east side of Charles Bancroft Highway and the as-built survey should be completed prior to the issuance of the certificate of occupancy for the bumper boat attraction or by August 31st, 2020, whichever is sooner.
Yeah, and the next one, which is 29, says the improvement shown in this plan as amended shall be completed no later than 31st.
I don't even have that. Did I see it?
Yeah, I don't think they mentioned it the first time.
Okay,
But here it is, right here.
all right. So we will make that a condition of approval.
I added it.
Sheet number 6 in the plan to show barn board that's installed to this pavilion number 2. So that's going to be a condition of approval. I would make it a condition of approval that the light towers be indicated somewhere, a note on the plan or somewhere as to their approximate area where they're going to be located. Also, the hours of operation should be noted on the plan for, the spooky world, but as well for
Yep, we have that.
Mel's.
Yep.
Do you have anything else, Kim? Did
Nope.
you want to add?
That's it.
Jay, did I miss anything? I know there's a lot of things here.
You got it.
I think we got it. Okay. We are good with all state permits. I'm going to put that as a condition of approval that all state permits are been approved and that, so that you can go forward. So that's a condition of approval. All fees paid, escrows maintained as required. Plan copies with professional seals and signatures, original Mylar with professional seals and signatures. And I think that is, with that, those conditions, I would entertain a motion to approve conditionally the amendment to the proposed site plan.
I think we need a second unless I missed it.
I approve.
Oh, yeah,
Made a
that's
motion.
right. I'm sorry. We went over. Yeah, so I need a second to approve the motion that Kim made.
Second.
All right, I have a second. Do I have discussion?
I have one point of discussion.
Go ahead.
I would just like to request that if there are any changes to the site plan, to come back to the planning board and not just through the inspector. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think that's referred to back in the ordinance to regulations.
All right.
It does state it in some of the regulations, so.
Okay. All right, good. So discussion has been made. Any other discussion? All right, we have a motion. We have a second. All those signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, abstained. Motion passes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 0, 0.
Thank you.
Okay, so, done. Now, one more thing. because we are doing so we've done the amendment to the site plan. Now what we're going to do is we need to go back to the compliance issue for this matter. So we need to vote tonight on what we're going to do for compliance. And I think, it's been stated tonight that, and I know Jay has recommended that a date of August 31st to have everything completed for the applicant, to complete everything. So perhaps the first week of September, our meeting in September, we would have a review, compliance review, to make sure that the applicant is compliant with the amendments that have been made tonight and with the plan. So would entertain a motion to have the compliance on this the specific site plan be on or before August 31st, 2020, with a review date. What's the
September 1st.
September 1st date for review should compliance not be done. Or if we need to obviously review it for compliance, I should say. I'm sorry.
So moved.
So moved. Okay, I have a motion.
Second.
I have a second. Do I have discussion? All those signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, abstained, motion passes 6-0-0. Okay, so compliance would be for the September 1st meeting. We would have a compliance review. Everything should be done by August 31st or before that. And perhaps at that time, maybe the applicant can, even before that time period, maybe like a week before or something, provide something to either Jay or to myself to make sure that everything is being complied with. So,
Mr. Chairman, if your
Yes.
building inspector tells you that we are in compliance with the plan prior to, can we cancel that hearing?
well,
Or maybe you leave it.
I think what we're going to do in this particular case, we will schedule the hearing for review for compliance. If the building inspector wants to do a report beforehand, before that date for that review time, and submit it to the board at the September meeting to say that you're in compliance, everything's all set, it's all good, wonderful, that's fine.
We'll try and get something like that to you. That would make the most sense.
So that we know, and that we're all on notice that, you've at least completed what you have to do. So,
Okay.
okay,
Well, thank you very much, Avi. We're sticking this one out. So
okay.
have a good night.
Good luck. Thank you all for
Thank you.
coming, and hopefully it goes well. We'll see you in September.
Thank you.
Well, take care.
Good night.
Good night. Did you want to?
No, I can say. That's what it is. Thank you.
All right. Committee reports. Any reports from any committees? Kim, do you have anything? NRPC?
Let's see, March 10th is the Heritage Committee at 7 PM. We know that's voting day, so right now it's still on. We're going to see if it's going to be canceled later, but as of now, it's on. March 18th is the quarterly NRPC meeting. And that's all I have.
Let's see, conservation is Thursday night, 7 o'clock here in Town Hall. There was no Lower Merrimack River Local Advisory Committee meeting in February. That was canceled. And I believe I saw something from NRPC, Jay, correct me if I'm wrong, about there's an event at the La Bella Winery
Yes,
in April?
NRPC's annual forum, April 9th. So hopefully you all got invitations and welcome to come. RSVP. It should be a good program. We're focused on entrepreneurship.
Cool. Also, too, I believe I saw a notice about the upcoming, I think it's the Office of Planning and Strategic Planning has their annual conference in the spring. That is a great conference to go to if you haven't gone to it. I recommend it, especially if you're a planning board member. They have a lot of great workshops. They have a great presentation on land use law and on how to conduct planning board meetings, how to conduct zoning meetings. And there's a lot of people from different towns, different cities across New Hampshire. So you get to meet other planning board members and other people who work in the land use area. And I went last year or so. I'm not sure if I'm going to be going this year, but if anyone is interested in going, I believe it is on the office. I can remember. Is it Energy and Planning?
It's now the Office of Strategic Initiatives.
Oh, okay. They've changed it. The Office of Strategic
Changes every
Initiatives.
couple of years.
Okay, all right. So the Office of Strategic Initiatives, if you go onto their website, the state website, I think you'll find the information for that. I think it's in the spring. I think it's in June, I believe.
And what's it called? What's the actual event called?
It's the Zoning and Planning. I believe it's called Zoning and Planning Conference, the annual Zoning and Planning Conference. Last year it was at the Grapponi Center in Concord. I don't remember where it is this year. I think it's in Portsmouth, actually. I think that's where I saw it. But don't quote me. Okay.
Capital improvement Monday night.
Yes, we have a capital improvement meeting this coming Monday night. We talked about that at the last meeting. So we're going to be doing our look into the capital improvement plan. And we will definitely keep the board abreast of what's going on with that.
I think the first one up is Highway Department.
Okay, cool.
With what department?
Highway Department.
Highway, okay.
So how many people sit on that board right now?
Right now,
It's rep from the Board of Selectmen, rep from Planning Board, rep from school, rep from budget, and 2 citizens. So there's 7 of us.
so, and of course, Jay is.
Jay and Troy.
Troy, yeah.
So it is at the Grapponi Conference Center again this year,
Oh, it
and
is?
it's
Okay.
Saturday, June 1st.
Okay, there you go. So.
Thank you.
There was something, I saw something in the email, something about grants. I don't know if you know anything about that, Jay. Something about, where is it?
So many grants.
There's so many, yes. There is. Grant workshop and opportunities. Oh, you know what? That, I think, is that? That's not, oh, no, that's the New Hampshire Association of Conservation Commissioners. Forget it. That's
That's
not.
Thursday night.
That's Thursday night. We'll talk about that Thursday night. Sorry. I thought it said RPC. So my apologies. I have nothing else. So at that point, we have approval of the February. Do we have the February 18th minutes? And do we need to approve those? I have them on the site. I see them on the site. Did anyone have an opportunity to look at them? Do they have any questions?
They look fabulous.
They look fabulous.
Oh,
Okay.
nice.
I didn't see anything, so I think they look pretty good. If there's no questions or concerns, I'd entertain a motion to approve them.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes for, what was the date? February 18th,
A
2020.
motion, do I have a second?
Second.
All right, I have a second. Do I have discussion? All those signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Abstained?
Me.
Oh, 1, 2, 3, okay. Motion passes.
What was it?
1, 2, and
Always
3.
those people off.
Okay.
3 there. 3.
Get ready to say no.
So, motion passes
303.
303.
Wait, so who is saying Steve?
Steve.
Josh.
Wasn't sure. Wasn't.
And Ron.
Any other business? Jay, do you have anything that you want to add?
I do not.
Okay. Anybody have anything that they want to add? Okay. If not, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion to adjourn. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Discussion. All those signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, abstained. Motion passes 600. Thank you for joining us this evening. Voting is coming up. Get out and vote. And we will see you at the meeting on March 17th. Good night.